Morning, y'all. Let's have a little walk and talk here. Try and process the events of yesterday, the things that were said, the accusations, and the gaslighting and the what do you call it? I don't even know how to put it in context. And once again, let me remind you all, I do these videos for myself. There's like little miniature therapy sessions because obviously I can't afford therapy and I don't like therapists, and they're just putting me on some kind of, bipolar medication, probably lithium again. I was on lithium for 17 years. I'm trying to get away from the cars. Let me go back here to the bike path. It helped me kind of stabilize. I was able to work, but it's not good for your liver and whatnot to be on a metal like that for all that time. I'm sure there's residual damage in my body, but the diagnosis of bipolar and diagnosis back in 1999 from, first time I had a kind of a spiritual awakening and a mental breakdown at the same time. Nervous breakdown where I took off in my Subaru and drove 120 miles an hour to Bishop from San Diego in 4 hours. Foot on the floor, fourth gear, literally just as fast as possible and as far as possible until I blew up the motor. Was a call for help. I was 23 years old. I didn't know what was going on. 1999. I didn't know what to do with the energy I had. I didn't know how to manage it. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. I went 7 days with like maybe 7 hours sleep total. I would run up Cowles Mountain and down in San Diego repeatedly just to try and burn off this energy I had. Because what I had done is I had gone from training for the Ironman triathlon and making progress in that endeavor, 20-25 hours a week at least of aerobic and weightlifting and cycling 250 miles, running 50 miles a week, and believing that was my future as a professional athlete, to having a spiritual epiphany and waking up going, oh, I'm supposed to be spreading the gospel to everybody all the time. That's what the book says. So maybe I should take the book seriously. And here's where it gets weird, because as soon as you start taking the book seriously, the situation in your life gets weird. And you start having emotions and, issues that don't make sense. You don't know how to process them. This is the kneading the dough of your spirit that God does on you as He is teaching you and guiding you and directing you and crafting a sculpture that is your life, a narrative and a story. So that's all well and good. I just wanted to that's a little perspective on my history with mental health. And at this point, at 50 years old, I've come into my calm, centered energy, which is usually my normal presentation to public and normal presentation to my friends, that I am someone who holds it together and is able to provide solace and comfort and wisdom and insight for their struggles because I've handled mine. Now, let's talk about getting knocked off center, because yesterday I got knocked off center. And how could you get knocked off center if you're so centered? Well, you don't anticipate certain things. And spirit comes in from that field with a freaking wrecking ball and a baseball bat and a chainsaw and starts whacking away at you. And one thing that is most uniquely qualified to knock you off center is your children. And why is that? Well, your children, they can knock you off center because they came from your center. From the information that your body manufactures, the intelligence and the telos and the logos and all the DNA, the chromosome, everything that's in your life force, in your sperm, is an encapsulated moment of who you are that is then disseminated, literally disseminated, put the seed put into semia, seed, disseminated into the woman, the vessel, who carries it and gives birth, and that's you. That's you. And so children are uniquely qualified to knock you off center because they came from your center. So in my life, the mother of my children, who I don't know what I ever saw in this woman, she had kind of quirky sense of humor, and she was clever and witty, and we had a lot of inside jokes, but like, she was physically near death when we met. And I took pity on her. I was like, oh, this woman, this young girl. Like, we went on a walk, like the first time, one of our first dates. We went for a walk in Quincy. Up, it was called Cemetery Hill, which is the hill between Quincy and East Quincy. And it's about 2/3 of a mile, maybe 3/4 of a mile long at maybe 5% grade. Maybe not even that. Yeah, you can ride it on a bike. I can ride it, used to be able to ride it like 15 miles an hour, but now a little slower. But there's a hiking trail alongside by the cemetery, up to the top of the hill. And like I said, it's only about 2/3, 3/4 of a mile, maybe climbs, 150, 200 feet. And I remember walking with her, and her eyes were bright yellow from jaundice. And apparently she had been misdiagnosed all those years from her family doctor, and didn't realize that she had chronic spherocytosis, meaning her blood cells came out not like Werther's Originals, dimpled in the middle, but like kicks, little spheres. And so her spleen would recognize all of her blood cells as defective and was removing them all. And so that's why she was jaundiced and near death, literally near death at 17 years old. And that's a rare blood disease, and it's genetic. Thankfully, none of the offspring from me inherited that. Obviously, my DNA is stronger than hers. So anyway, we get to the top of the hill, and I take her pulse. It's 168. Like, that's red line. And we're just walking casually. It's that moment I took pity on this young lady, and I thought, well, I can help her. I can fix her. I can, whatever the justifications and motivations were. I decided that I decided that I love this girl, and I wanted to help. So I proposed marriage. I didn't know what the hell. I'm impetuous, and I'm, a little bit, sometimes don't make the right plans and don't think things through, and a little bit hasty. But I proposed to her shortly after that. And she thought I was joking. Well, I asked her to the prom, actually. She thought I was being put up to it by, as a joke, as a cruel joke from a friend. No, I wanted to take her to prom. So, yeah, I ended up in Alaska working before her prom happened, so I never took her to prom. Yeah, so let's get to what happened yesterday. Let's get to, in this therapy session, in this little vlog, walking around, it's warming up, I'm thawing out, everything's dual purpose, there's no wasted motion in the kingdom, there's no wasted effort, there's no wasted money, there's no wasted nothing. Everything is used to its proper end. And like, when I talk about righteousness and truth are the foundations of your throne, when I talk about doing things correctly, this is one of those things. We don't surrender to convenience. We don't surrender to consumption or capitalism or anything. We listen to Spirit as it guides us. He tells us how to behave, how to use things, how to see things of value, like this vest I've been wearing to keep myself alive at night. Like, this was in the free pile, like things like that. Like, most people, don't even look in the free pile, because that would, you have to surrender your pride to be able to see things properly. And pride goes before a fall. So the kingdom thinking, the kingdom behavior, the kingdom righteousness, Abraham believed God, it's credited to him as righteousness. So the righteousness that is from God is counter to this world's concept of righteousness. And the reason that that's important is like in the world's eyes, Jessie is righteous, the mother of my kids, for protecting them from me and taking them away from me. When in fact, it's the opposite. It's bizarro world. It's the opposite of righteous, because I responded in faith to the call of God upon my life and presented the opportunity to her to come with me, join me in this adventure of sharing the gospel worldwide. And she said no. And when she said no, it set in a course of behaviors and actions and responses. And, you know, in my mind, I'm 23 years old. I have a young wife. I have a daughter, Teresa, and a son on the way, which I didn't know at the time. Caleb came in October of 99. This is in February of 99, so around the time that he would have been conceived. I made my decision to serve God and to preach the gospel. And I had, in my spirit, worked out having the courage to do so. And that I was going to go. And it's my wife's duty, as I understand the word, that I'm going to follow. The word says, wives, submit to your husbands, kind of thing. She's my helpmate. She's my partner. And so when I presented to her an opportunity to come share the gospel, and she refused, it threw me off center. We're talking about this centeredness. It threw me off center. I'd like to go down that path over there. There's a lot of cars. I'll be all right. I don't like the cars. We've talked about this. Here I go. So it threw me off center. It set into motion things. Let me get across the street here. You can slow the fuck down. I don't fucking like you. Yeah. Responsive behaviors. It just set. It's like a Rube Goldberg device. Like ding, 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 ding. It's 17 steps later. Here we are in 2025, and I'm 50 years old and trying to reconcile with the children that I created with that woman who refused me when I should have just seen the writing on the wall from the beginning, from the outset. And yet I didn't. Teresa was one thing, the oldest. To marry a woman and lay with her and produce offspring, a child, in good faith when we were still kind of in love. It's one thing. Caleb's another thing. We went on a camping trip to the desert. I know when Caleb was conceived in Borrego. I know exactly when it happened, because one thing, we weren't really getting along, so there were only so many opportunities, once a month maybe. And so I know, judging from his birthday and the events of February of 99, when he was conceived, just before my breakdown, just before Jessie refused to come with me and join me on the adventure of sharing the gospel. We baptized each other in my father's house. All the signs pointed towards this is what we're supposed to be doing. All the signs pointed towards, I'm responding to the call of God upon my life, and this woman is supposed to come with me, and had given every inclination that she would, until push came to shove and she refused. You might not know, Teresa, whatever, fictional librarian, whatever, think you're so clever. You might not know that. The Caleb, if you're watching this, you certainly don't know that. That's how you came into being. Quite literally. Natalie and Rebecca, you kind of came after when there was a reconciliation, when I came back from the road, came back from my quest, and your mother actually accepted me back. And I don't know why. Probably a mistake on her end. And definitely a mistake on my end. But that's what's up. I mean, we made these children And then again, it happened where I'm back working, living with my wife, working, 3 jobs, working at the mill, working at the I had a firewood business, just busting my ass, and she would leave the house in shambles. She didn't work. Yeah, I don't even know what she did really all day. Looking back, I'd come home from, a 10-hour shift at the mill, and there'd be dishes piled up in the sink so high I'd have to run a bath and take the dishes there to start them and take 3 hours to wash them. She's just lazy. Your mother is fucking lazy. And then I'm gaslit into being that I'm the problem and I'm the cause of all the drama and that I'm the unstable one and your mother is the root of the problem. She didn't do her job. She betrayed me. She didn't do her task as a believer in the Lord Jesus Christ and the gospel and the Bible. All those things she just ignored and responded in fear, which is the lowest possible vibration, and I was responding in faith. So this is the conflict, fear versus faith. This is the conflict. And so now we're in a position where my response in my life by faith to the call of God upon my life, which instigated a reaction of fear in this woman, now 20-something years later, there's still ramifications of that. There's still consequences of that. That I am still gaslit into being the enemy. I am still gaslit into being, I'm crazy, homeless dude out in the hills, burning trash in the mountain. My crazy's on full display. My halo's slipping. Slipping? You've been slipping forever, Teresa. Literally. You still don't believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. You still don't surrender your will, bend the knee to Him, and you defend your mother, who is just worthless. So I think that's enough for today. I don't like all this noise. I can't, and I gotta walk through it to get back to where I was, where coffee's getting cold. At least it's getting warm today. It's gonna be in the 70s actually. After being 28, 27 degrees last night, that's quite a change. And there's a show tonight at the Sage and Salt. So here's one of the things I do, like talking about faith and how I look at the world. Walking along, I see a nut. That's a nut. Oh, that's a bolt. That's a bolt. And that's a nut. I didn't see a washer. If I see a washer, each one of these things tells me something in the moment, that exact moment. Okay? Like this is, if I find a nut, it's God saying, in the spirit saying to me, this is crazy, that's nuts. If I find a bolt, that means it's time to run, bolt. If I find a washer, that means I need to wash her, my queen, my bride, wash her. So now I got, okay, well, I don't know what those mean, little bits. It's a bit of a stretch. So you see, the Spirit converses with us. It's a conversation we have with Spirit. And it's really the only way to understand how to do things properly. To live by faith. Rejoice for the steps of a righteous man or ordered of God. Faith is paramount. Now, in this confrontation yesterday from my kids and my daughter's husband, was a fucking punk. I better not see you, motherfucker. I better not see you. I was mad enough to do some damage last night to what you said to me, calling me a sperm donor and an example of everything that is not the way it's supposed to be. You're just wrong, dude. You're just wrong. So, Don't know what else I can say about that, Chandler. But you take care of Teresa. Leave me the fuck alone. I will hurt you. You don't have a chance, dude. I use my words to create space and safety for myself, and I use my words to as weapons. I do use my words as weapons. I've told you how I feel. I've told you what you've done. I've told you that you're worthless, and you are. I've told you, Teresa, that you're basically worthless because you've surrendered to the fear of your mother, and now have you joined with the bullshit of this young man who's out of line 1,000,000%. And a different time, different era, and it must be in my DNA. Talking about DNA, that would just put him in the ground, but that's a different time. We're not in that time now. We're in a different time. So, just want to capture all that as I walk around. Why don't we just finish up with getting back to my little coffee? And, Teresa, I had high hopes for you. I really did. You may not have known this history about how you came to be and how Caleb came to be and all the things that added up to bring us to this moment. And in this moment, look, there's a screw. In this moment, it's all kind of screwed. You can tie that up with this baling wire. It's nuts. We probably should bolt. It's a little bit crazy. Spirit's talking. I'm tired. I'm hungry. I'm warming up. Life is good. And that's what's up. I want to say it. That's what's up. It's perfect and getting better. But your children can knock you off center because they came from your center. And so I will recenter, reacquire my Zen and my Ki and all the things that make me who I am. I'm going to realign with those. That's beautiful. We got a little protest here today, too. So I might join in that, the No Kings thing. Although it'll be kind of weird when I'm king. So that's what's up. That's all. God bless America. Over and out.